Description. var declarations, wherever they occur, are processed before any code is executed. This is called hoisting and is discussed further below. The scope of a variable declared with var is its current execution context and closures thereof, which is neither the enclosing function and functions declared within it, or for variables declared outside any function global. Duplicate variable declarations using var will not trigger an error, even in strict mode, and the variable will not lose its value unless another assignment is performed. And here they give us this example. You can see in single quotes they're using use strict mode, and we end up with a semicolon, and now we're gonna create a function named foo. Inside of that function we're gonna open curly braces, and we're gonna have the var statement declaration, and we have a variable named x that is gonna be assigned the number 1. We end up with a semicolon, and now we're gonna create another function named var inside of the function foo. So now here in the function var we open curly braces, and we're gonna declare this variable, this var statement, this variable y is, and we're gonna assign it the number 2. We end up with a semicolon, and now we're gonna cancel that log x. So function var closes over x, so the result is gonna be 1 here. Now we're gonna, outside of that, we're gonna cancel that log y, so we're gonna cancel that log here, the variable y, and the result has to be 2. Y is in scope, so pretty much here is the variable y, and it's in the scope of the function var. X, the variable x, is outside of the function var, but inside of the function foo. So right now we close curly braces of the function var, and we're gonna call that function var with parentheses. Outside of that, what we're gonna do is cancel that log x, the variable x, and here x is in scope, so the variable x is inside of the function foo, so there is no problem, and the result has to be 1. We put semicolon, and now we're gonna cancel that log, the variable y, and now what's gonna happen is we are outside of the function var. We are outside of the function var, and we want to know the value of y. So that is the reason we're gonna get the reference error in strict mode. Y is scope to var. Okay, so we close the curly braces of the function foo, and then we call the function foo. And now we can check out in the dev tools. We go with Ctrl+Shift+I, we paste it, and now as you can see, if I press enter, I get the results 1, 2, and 1. And the result 1, this one here, is cancel that log x, so the result is 1 since the value of the variable x is 1, and this variable is inside of the function foo. Now we'll go in this one, cancel that log, the variable y, and the result is 2 because y is in scope, so y is inside of the function var, so there's no problem here. There's no problem with the variable x and the variable y here. Now outside of that, we close the curly braces of the function var, and then we call the function var by typing var parentheses. Okay, so outside of that, we're gonna cancel that log, the variable x. So right now we are outside of the function var and inside of the function foo. So if we console that log, the variable x, the result is gonna be 1, so there is no problem there. But now the problem arises when we try to cancel that log, the variable y, since the variable y is in scope, but is in scope of the function var, not the function foo. And that is the reason that we don't get the number 2 for this cancel that log y in this part. We get the reference error, and you can see uncode reference error, y is not defined a foo. So that is that. Variables declared using var are created before any code is executed in a process known as hoisting. Their initial value is undefined. Here they give us another example. So we're using a string. So in single quotes, you type in use string, then we end up with a semicolon. We are gonna cancel that log x undefined. Note, not a reference error, so it's not gonna throw as a reference error, but it's gonna be undefined. Now we're gonna cancel that log, this string is still going ellipses, so yeah, it's gonna throw still going ellipses. And now finally we're gonna declare the var statement declaration with the variable x assigned to 1. Now we're gonna cancel that log, this variable, the variable x, and the result is gonna be 1. Now we're gonna cancel that log, this statement, this string is still going with the 3 dots or ellipses, is still going. And we can check it out here in our DevTools. So if I go here, I press enter, and as you can see, when we are using use string inside the single quotes, we're trying to cancel that log x, but what happens, we are not declaring the variable, we are trying to cancel that log and then declaring it, so it doesn't work like that. As you can see, it's throwing as undefined. It's not a reference error, it's not like in red and it's throwing as an error, it's just an undefined. Now in the second one, cancel that log, and this string is still going, so it's speeding out that one. And now we have the, now we are declaring the, we have the var statement, and we are declaring the variable x assigned to the number 1. Then we have canceled that log, that variable x, and the result is gonna be 1. And then again, finally cancel that log, and the string is still going. So that is that. In the global context, a variable declared using var is added as a non-configurable property of the global object. This means its property descriptor cannot be changed, and it cannot be deleted using the delete operator. So if you want to read more about it, you have this one about the delete operator. It's has a lot of information here. The corresponding name is also added to a list on the internal var names slot on the global environment record, which forms part of the global lexical environment. The list of names and the var names enables the runtime to distinguish between global variables and straightforward properties on the global object. The property created on the global object for global variables is said to be non-configurable because the identifier is said to be treated as a variable rather than a straightforward property of the global object. JavaScript has automatic memory management, and it would make no sense to be able to use the delete operator on a global variable. So here we're using the strict mode, and single quotes use strict semicolon. We have the var statement declaration, we have the variable x assigned to the number 1. We end up with a semicolon, and now we're gonna type in object that has on in parentheses global des comma, and now as a string it's gonna be the variable x. It's gonna get true. Now we're gonna try to delete global des dot x, the global variable here. Type error in strict mode fails silently otherwise. Now delete the variable x. Syntax error in strict mode fails silently otherwise. So we can check it out in the DevTools. We copy with Ctrl+C and clean it out with Ctrl+L, or you just press the circle here and paste it with Ctrl+V. We press enter, and there you have it. Uncode syntax error. Delete of an unqualified identifier in strict mode. So if we try, for example, to do it without the, let's refresh this, and now we're gonna try to do it without the strict mode, and then we press enter, and it's gonna throw us false. It's not gonna throw us an error, a reference error. So that is that. Note that in both Node.js, CommonJS modules, and native ECMAScript modules, type-level variable declarations are scoped to the module and are not therefore added as properties to the global object.